welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to be doing my top 5 books on mindset. What do we mean by mindset? Well, so I started a property business last year with my daughter, and one of the things that we heard there, which I've seen for my own eyes, is that often people will hear information that could potentially change their lives, but they don't take any action. And often the reason that they don't take action is that the mindset isn't there to enable them to take action. So the mindset may be telling them that even if they do it, they're not going to succeed, or their mindset might be telling them, you know, things like that don't happen to people like me. So mindset is absolutely key in terms of being able to take the action that you want to take to change your life or to take things to the next level. So I wanted to do my top 5 books just in terms of mindset because it is so important. Now, for all of my book videos that I'm doing at the moment, I'd like to give you the opportunity to win the book. So in the description down below, if you would like to go onto my website and just leave your email address, subscribe there, then I'm going to be pulling names out of a hat to actually give away the book. So I'm just kind of wanting to share the love. So I'm going to be sharing all of the books that I'm reviewing as part of sharing my reading list. This is part of me sharing my 2019 reading list. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my mindset books, my top 5 books, which I'm going to be doing in reverse order. So I'm going to start with the one that's at the 5th place and then down to the first one. Now bear in mind that these are all really, really good because I read lots and lots of books, and these are just the ones that have made it to the top 5. So the first one that I'm going to start with is quite an old book actually, and when I went into Amazon and was just looking at some of the history in our Amazon purchases, my daughter bought this in 2015, and actually for those of you that know my daughter, you know that she is the motivation for a lot of the things that I've been doing in the last kind of like year or so. So The Richest Man in Babylon is a complete classic, and basically in terms of mindset around financial discipline and wealth creation, this book is really, really interesting. It just makes you think about things very differently, and it uses some age-old principles, as you can tell, because it's called The Richest Man in Babylon. So it's really using some very old, very wise principles. It teaches you, and this is something that a lot of people will have heard about, it teaches you about dividing your money up into different pots that you can use for different things. So you might divide your money up such that half of your money is used for your living costs, and then of the half that's left, you divide that into 5 different pots, and you'd use 10% to give back. You might use 10% for your education in terms of your development, a further 10% you might use for your investments, and so on and so forth. So this book kind of explains the concept of how you really manage your money, get some financial discipline. It also talks about things like lending money and borrowing money and the things to be mindful of and to be careful of. So I think just in terms of as a mindset to have around being very careful and really just being stewards, you know, of our money and the things that we have, this is a really useful book. So The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. The 4th one on my list, and I'm not actually going to be able to say the full title of this one because just in case my mum's watching I might get in trouble. So it's The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a F asterisk K, okay? The Life-Changing Magic by Sarah Knight. This book is, apart from just being very funny, and not just because it's using F-bombs, and she does use a lot of F-bombs, so just as a warning, if you're a bit sensitive to that, don't get this book. I got the audio book, which was very funny, so I like funny audiobooks. But she talks about basically managing your life so that you're not spending a lot of time and energy on things that you don't have to. And also living your life in a way where you're not living just to please other people, or you're not constraining your life because you're constantly worrying about what other people think. And I think this is really important as a mindset. If you're going to change your life, or you're going to change what you're doing, or you're going to go in a radically different direction, you're going to get a lot of criticism. You are potentially going to get a lot of people kind of pointing at you and saying, why are you doing that, or you should be doing that. You have to be very focused, and you have to really be very careful about the advice and the criticism and the feedback that you listen to. So I'm not saying don't take any feedback or don't take any criticism, but just be very careful what advice you take. And so this book, The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving Up, is kind of the one that will just give you the kind of strength of courage to do what you know is right. So in third place now, this little book here, Eat That Frog. This is a book that I first came across about 4 years ago when I was on a retreat in the middle of nowhere, drinking juice for 7 days. In my room when I arrived, there was this book called Eat That Frog. This is a lot of things actually, but I think as well as kind of helping you with goal setting, very much helps you to get your mind in focus in terms of being productive and working on the things that really matter. And that's why I put it in the mindset section. The other thing about this book as well, it's really short. It's literally just about 100 pages by Brian Tracy. And Brian Tracy is, you know, really influential and just knows a thing or two about getting things done, whether you're a business owner, you know, you work for a big company, or you kind of just doing your own thing. This is just really good in terms of really questioning yourself. Am I doing the right thing? Am I moving in the right direction? And then once you've made that decision, actually then taking the steps and taking the action to get there. This is kind of the book that helps you do that. Okay, so that's why it's in my third place. My second place book, Willpower Doesn't Work. This is one that I've listened to really recently. It's by Benjamin P. Hardy. Again, I had the audiobook, which Benjamin narrates himself, which I always love. So just authors out there, please narrate your books yourself. It's so much more impactful. This is a really cool book. It basically talks about how it's quite difficult to achieve things by willpower alone. Now, I know that might be a controversial statement to make, but what Benjamin basically talks about is the importance of changing your environment. So once you've made that decision to go down a certain road, you know, change your environment so that it supports you going in the direction you've taken. And so he talks about the impact of having the right friends, which, you know, a lot of people talk about. So when you decide, for example, that you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you decide that you want to spend more time doing voluntary work, or you decide that you want to get healthier, there is something about surrounding yourself by the right people that are going to give you the motivation and the encouragement to go in that direction. So he talks very much about that. He also talks about, you know, finding your time to recharge at the end of the day so that you are running in the path that you want to be running to, recharging at the end of the week, recharging at the end of a month, and recharging once a year. So very much around fine-tuning your environment, I guess, to get the best out of you and to make sure that you're going in the direction you want to be going in. Okay, so that's Willpower Doesn't Work by Benjamin P. Hardy. And my number one book for mindset, again, the classic Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I guess mindset around financial wealth and wealth creation, but this really will change your mind. So if you have a very fixed view that, for example, you know, success in life is growing up, getting married, having 2.4 children, you know, kind of like working a job that you don't necessarily like, buying a house and having a car, this kind of challenges that mindset very much in terms of wealth. I mean, there are so many quotes in there I can't even get into. Obviously, it's by Robert Kiyosaki, who is, you know, so influential and has changed so many people's lives just by kind of empowering them to think about wealth differently and thinking about wealth in a way that it becomes quite empowering, such that you don't therefore then just have to be a slave to the wage, as I would put it. So again, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you want a completely different way of thinking about wealth and about money, not necessarily in a way that's just all about greed, because money isn't just about greed, you know, you can do a lot of good with money, then this is the book that you need. So that was kind of it really, my top 5 books in terms of mindset. As I said before, if you want to win them, go onto my website, leave your email details, and I'll pull the names out of the hat. And we will then send the books out to the winners that come out of that. If you liked what you saw, then subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up. Tell me what sort of books inspire you, so what books have made a big change in your life, and what are the books you want me to read. So if you've got any recommendations, let me know. I'll download them on audio and then tell you what I think. Okay, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. Hi everyone. Sorry, I think you've just done some Zoom thing on it.